Okay, so today we're going to be working on Gekisai Dai Ichi. For most people, this will be one of the first katas that you learn in Goju. So we're going to break it down into small segments, 15-minute videos, and it'll probably be done over about 4 or 5 videos. Okay, so to start with, your position. The first thing we need to work out basically is our feet position. So the first move in the kata, we're starting from Mizubadachi, our feet are 45 degrees, heels together. We then got to get into a position where our heels and our toes are in line. So our front heel, this one, and our rear toes are in line, and our feet facing forwards. And this is quite an important part. The way to probably get to this position is to almost reverse engineer it. So we need to get into this position without shoulder width apart, feet shoulder width apart, feet facing forwards. We've got to get from there, from this position. For me, the way that I do this is I just push my right foot out in front, and then I turn. I'm pivoting on the balls of the foot, and as I turn, then I will end up with my heel and toe in the correct position. If I push my right foot out the way it's facing this way, then I generally will end up in a stance which is too long. If I don't put my foot, if I just turn, then I'll end up with my feet too close together, and I'll be off balance. So you basically got to play around with this a little bit, I think, and go from Mizubadachi into Gekisai Shin. Mizubadachi, feet facing forwards. Why the feet facing forwards? The feet facing forwards because the next move is going in that direction. So a common mistake is people with their back foot not turned around, and their right foot, if you see my right foot, I'm facing this way, but my right foot is facing 45 degrees, so my hip hasn't turned round enough, my foot hasn't turned. It needs to turn round more. If you look at a sprinter, when a sprinter's in the blocks and they're down, ready to go, their feet are facing straight, because that's the fastest way to move. Their blocks are not set at 45 degrees. If it was quicker to move in that way, the blocks would be set at an angle. They're not. They're set. They're straight. So your feet are facing this way for a reason. It's because it's faster to move. Now I know there's lots of moves in katas where your feet aren't in the direction that you're going. Granted, but in this instance, it works. Okay, so effectively you've got to play around with it a bit. So for me, I just push my foot out, I turn the ball of my foot, and then both of my feet are facing forwards. The next move with the feet, concentrating on the feet, is to step forwards into a handstand Gekisai. So we're going to move the right leg. Now we always say step, what we mean is slide. So we're going to move in a straight line, that's fastest. We don't want to curve, we want to move in a straight line. So we say step, means slide, okay? Keep the feet slightly gliding over the floor. So from here, from Gekisai Shin, we're going to move our right foot forwards into handstand Gekisai. Our weight forwards on the right leg. With all these moves, when you're moving, try not to move your front foot out before you move. It's a natural sort of thing to do. You want to do that, but resist that and keep this foot straight. Don't move it until this foot passes. Once it's gone, this foot can turn slightly, as much as you need to. So as your foot is still, as you step forwards, then it may turn. Hands in, so that's not so much, but The Zenkutsu Dachi, it may turn out a little bit, depending on your flexibility. So, going back to the foot position, we're going to move our right foot into Heiko Sanshin, stepping forwards into hand Zenkutsu Dachi. So, back leg straight, front leg bent, knee over the toes, back up straight, head back. The width of your starts is exactly the same as Heiko Sanshin. You're just stepping forwards, sliding forwards. From there, we're going to slide back into Shikadachi. So, common mistake here is to think about moving your bum, moving your backside first, and what that tends to do is it tends to move your head down. So people think about moving this part down like this, because we're going down. We're going to end up in Shikadachi. And what we want to concentrate on is maybe the back of the head more. Concentrate on your back as well, but concentrate on your back of your head, so when you move backwards, you're moving this part and your back will stay straight. If you concentrate on this part, you'll bend forwards, and you want to keep your back up straight as much as possible. Okay, so from there, we're going to slide back into Shikadachi. 45 degrees, knees over your toes. Okay, not this. You don't want to be too wide. We don't want to be down this low. This is weak. So 45 degrees, back up straight. So let's work on the hand position for them 3 moves. So in Yoi. So Yoi position, left hand on top of your right. Now, so the move is we're going to turn and we're going to block up Age Uke, rising block. Now, a little tip here is your left hand is in front and it's our right hand that we've got to move around. So the right hand moves first. Keep your left hand almost as if it's stuck in space. So if I was able to pin that left hand in the position that it is and turn my body here, my left hand now is almost in the correct position. I haven't got to do too much. So I'm moving my body into my arm. So if I make a fist, it only has to move up very slightly. For me, it tends to move naturally, maybe because I know where it's going to go, but it just tends to fold into that position. If I think move my hand with my body, then my hand comes round in front of my body, and then I've got to move it back underneath my elbow. So it's probably more efficient, for me anyway, is to leave that hand where it is and move your body into that position. It's already there. Hardly any work to do, less brain power needed. You just leave and it comes underneath your elbow. Now I use my wrist as an indicator of where my elbow needs to fit. So from here you can see my arm that comes underneath sits underneath my elbow, and I've covered my whole of my body. Okay. The next move from there is that this left hand is going to come straight up. It's going to rise and block. It's going to come straight up in a straight line. Resist the urge to have your elbow out. Elbows in, good. Elbows out, bad. Okay. So when I've got my left hand, I'm concentrating on the left hand at the moment. When this left hand is underneath my elbow, it's on the back, and I rise up, it wants to rise in a straight line, as if my elbow and my wrist are on 2 poles going upwards. A straight line covers the whole of my body, it comes up and down the same line. Okay. My right hand turn, my right hand's got to move around and it's got to cover in front of my body. My left hand, as I said before, hardly does anything. It will just fit underneath. And then from there, my right hand can cover my body, my left hand's in the right position, it comes up, my right arm is going to come back into chamber, and my left hand is high above my head, a good 45 degrees. Not here. Okay, this is weak. It needs to come up above your head. Your arm's not going to come off your arm, off your shoulder. Just let it come up. As you move, sink and close. So you're closing your body in. The attack's coming, you're closing your body, and then you're going to open up. Close, open up. Your head position, we're going to be turning to our left. Try not to turn your head and then look. It's a little bit more natural. It's a little bit, an attack's coming, move your arms. Your head's going to turn with your body and block up. Okay. From there, the next move is to step forwards or slide forwards into Han Zen Kutsudachi. Now, when people first come to the class, haven't done any martial arts before, they will tend to punch in an action which is feet and arms all together, naturally, not in every case. Sometimes they punch a little bit, lead with the arm, but they generally don't step and punch, okay? And then, so the issue with that is when they step, they've got no control. It's their body's leaning forwards, they've committed 100%, but their body's leaning forward, they've got no focus, they're off balance, they've got no control, easy to take over, etc., etc. So what we've got to do is we've basically got to take all that apart and put it back together again in a different sequence. So the thing here is to move your feet before you move your arms initially. So when you step forwards, when you from here, from Ageuke, when you're stepping forwards and punching Oizuki, you move your feet, get into the position, step through, get into the position first with your feet, and then punch. Okay, so you break it down. Block, stepping forwards, feet, punch. Feet, punch. Okay? And you'll find that your cards will be much more controlled if you follow that line. Feet, hips, arms. Feet, punch, rather than the other way. That gap will get smaller and smaller and smaller as you develop. Okay? But generally, let's follow that line. So, from Mizugudachi, left hand on top of right. Turn, left hand underneath your elbow. This is important. Rising block up, Ageuke. Arm up high. Weight forwards. Step forwards. Hands in Kutsudachi. Step, punch. It's a Jodan punch. You're punching towards your own nose level. From there, we're going to slide back into Shikidachi. Leave your arm, for practice, leave your arm out. Slide back into Shikidachi, and leave this arm out as much as possible so that your left hand now is going to come over the top. You want to bring your elbow across your body. You want to cover your whole body with this circular sweeping motion. And from here, left hand over the top. As you sit into Shikidachi, your arms are across, elbow to elbow. You're trying to reach from your knee to your knee, so it sweeps. Now, big difference in some styles, the way people do this is for speed. You will find that people will just put their arm from their shoulder down to their knee position. This is what we want to avoid. we want to try and cover the whole of our body when we're blocking, knee to knee. So we look into the way we're punching. In the kata, we keep our gaze that way. So when we slide back into that, we're still looking in that direction. Shoulders back. With the left hand that you're blocking with. Not this way, that way. Remember this can be a strike and it can also be a block. So we're punching, sliding back, arm back into chamber. Legs 45 degrees, knees over your toes, back up straight, push your backside out. Your left arm covers your side. Okay? Too far, it's a blocking, do nothing. Okay? Not your front this way. Try and pull your shoulders back, bum out, legs at 45 degrees, pull this shoulder back, expand your chest. Okay? So that's the first three moves from here. One, stepping forwards, punch, lie back and kick it out, and block. Remember, we're looking at that. The next move is that we're going to move our left leg, because we're now going to repeat the moves to the right. So the left leg, again, you've got to try and reverse engineer this. From here, we want to end up from Shikadachi into Heiko San Shin, but go in the other direction. Shikadachi, Heiko San Shin. So you need to just practice this one move. Your hips facing this way. Your back foot, front foot facing forwards. Heel and toe in line. So our left arm has done the block. Now our right arm is back in chamber already. And again, but this one now, as you move, you need to put it underneath your lower, but all you're doing is pushing it across your body, as in a basic block. Pushing it across your body. My elbow sitting in my wrist. That's the position. I know then that I've covered my whole of my body. From there is exactly a repeat of the first three moves. We're going to block, we're going to slide forwards, punching Jodan, hands in Kutsadachi, weight forwards. It's an important thing. We're going from one move here, forwards, and then we're going backwards. Temptation is to go backwards before you finish going forwards. So, Gekisai Dai Ichi is a kata. We're smashing through something, smashing through into something to knock them down. Okay, it's got a lot of power. So when we're blocking here and we're stepping forward, we want to make sure that we are punching fully in that direction. We've somebody's attacked, we've blocked. Now we're going to counter. We may only have one chance. We're going to step forward. We've got to punch with everything, the whole body behind that punch. So we're going to block. When we step forwards, it's committed. We're committed to that punch. Our weight needs to be forwards, and our back leg needs to be straight. Punch, so you're punching forwards. Try not to go. I'm committed. I'm still thinking backwards, because I know I'm going to go backwards. That's the hard part. So we want to go forwards, and then back fast. Try not to go fast, slow. I've seen that quite a lot. No, I need to go 100, 150 miles an hour right to the end, and then focus, stop, kime. Okay? So fully commit to the punch. Back, try not to sit backwards, but sit down into your shikidachi. From here, use gravity to pull you down. Okay? From here, back, and block. Okay, so that's the first 6 moves. We'll leave it there, and then we'll do the next video. We'll go on to carry on.